Hola.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Laughing.
Man, listen. Listen. Enough is enough. And I'll just leave it at that.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Welcome. All right.
I joined early, so I would be ready.
Right, now having to switch phones.
Yeah, I never know.
Gemini, June.
Right.
Because, back when I was a regular participant, we didn't do Zoom. It was just
all
Renee
Facebook
talking to herself.
on IG. You remember those days? God, that feels like so long ago, but it really is not. Like, Zoom has been the best thing ever.
It has. I like this so much better.
Yeah, me too. It's hard, like, to talk about a book for an hour by yourself and just look at comment. That was the hardest thing I ever had to do, and it would make me so nervous to like do book chats because I literally will forget a book after 5 minutes. Like, if I'm done reading it, it's out of my mind if I don't take notes. So it's like trying to do book chats and talk about stuff for an hour. It was a struggle for sure. Welcome, everyone. Just giving it another minute or so before I get started. I've been running around all day today. I was gonna come home and like put on some Book Girl Magic stuff, but I was like, no, I got Tupac on. I'm gonna keep him on just for the chat.
My birthday twin.
Yeah. Oh, he's a June Gemini too? Lord.
Yep. June 16th was his birthday. He's 5 years older
my son's birthday. My youngest.
Who said that? Amy?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You got a June 16th, baby?
I do.
That's his best birthday ever.
Erica, you said was his birthday. Some say still is.
I mean, some do.
Right.
And I believe it.
Right.
All right, I got to get all my talking out now because I ain't read the book.
Listen, I was trying to skim through my notes because I hardly remember what the heck is going on. I literally read it because I was the first in line for Libby, so I read it like the day it came out. So that was like what, October sometime. So yeah, I just feel like I'm so far removed, but I do have a ton of notes, so
that's good.
We'll see.
I pre-ordered it, but I waited to read it. Like I just finished it this morning, actually.
I know Libby be tripping, so I knew if I would have delayed that hold, I might not see it for a while. So I was like,
I had to buy it because I like Jada.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good read, yeah.
Yeah. Let me just introduce the book real quick and then we can get right into it. Of course, we're talking about Worthy by Jada Pinkett Smith. So much controversy with this one. So many people and their opinions. I know there was a lot of clips and sound bites circulating the internet right before she released her book. For me, I'm happy I read the book because those sound bites don't even capture the majority of what is in this book. There's so much more to it than those 5-second sound bites. So I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot about her. Things I just definitely would not have known. A lot of people give her backlash for talking about Tupac and her relationship with him, but I actually found that really fascinating to learn more about him, to learn more about a softer side of him, to learn how he kind of came up. So I'm really intrigued to read his book. There's a book that just came out about him, or kind of around the same time, I think. So I'm interested in reading. What'd you say?
I said, yeah, but he didn't write it.
Yeah, somebody else did. But I think it was authorized by the family or something like that, from what I understand. So it's as close as we're gonna get. What were y'all's thoughts?
Loved it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, because it said my Wi-Fi was messed up. I am a professor, not a fan of Jada before the book. That's why when I said on the comment, I did not like Jada before the book or before the Tupac thing. She just used to irritate me at her Red Table Talks. I just couldn't. But I thought her book was very good, especially after reading Will. It kind of gives me a little bit more perspective because Will, I don't know how other people read in reading Will, but I kind of felt like he was an asshole to his family.
Yeah, I mean, and he admitted that, like, he wasn't the best husband to Jada. Like, he's admitted all of that. So I actually appreciated his honesty and just, I think there's a scene that they talk about her birthday and how she's like, this party wasn't about me. It was all about you and what you could do and how flashy you could be. And so it just kind of like he was honest about that. I really loved his book, the audiobook especially, like just the sound bites throughout, the rapping, the theme songs. Like it was incredible to listen to. I was actually hoping that her book would follow a little more closely to his with the how fun and engaging his was. Um, but I still really enjoyed hers, like her perspective.
I like that they both talked about the party.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff, I had just finished Tupac's book maybe about a week or so ago. And so there are some similar stories in both of those. So to hear her talk about some of the same things Will said and that are in Tupac's book that are from different perspectives, but still kind of the same story. That was good.
That's cool. That's gonna make me want to bump that one up on my list.
Yeah, she went deep.
Wasn't on my list. Now I gotta add it.
Right. I was like, I have the physical copy, but it wasn't something that I was like, I have to get to it now, but might have to bump that up to January because ain't no way it's happening this month.
Yeah, I might have to get the Tupac book.
I had no idea that Jada sold drugs. I had no idea.
Me either.
Man, that part, yes.
She was in the streets like that.
Blew my
I picture
mind.
her little behind, like selling drugs. Like, girl, are you for real?
I just have to picture her from Set It Off. That's
Yeah.
my mind.
This is like she actually is her character in a different world and Set It Off.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was picturing reading it with the selling the drugs, her character in a different world, like with the baggy pants on, like just in the streets of Baltimore, just slanging her drugs.
Eyebrows. I immediately thought of Lena James when I thought of those bushy eyes. I said, "What's Jada?"
And if you were a cop, would you suspect somebody that little of selling drugs?
No,
not at all.
Absolutely not.
When
And I
she said
I thought that
Gabby made that role for her, I was like, what? I mean, most of us on here love A Different World. Hearing the background, I said, oh my God, like I really like this story.
Yeah. And I also thought the title was so fitting with the story once I finished it, and then those red pages, because I did the article and I was like, at the end of each chapter that was red pages got me, and I had a lot of journal entries, and I was like, okay, it was a real good self, understanding your work too.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people complaining about those red pages and those prompts. They're like, look at Jada, trying to be whatever. And I really, after I read it, I said, y'all made this sound like she was legit trying to be a therapist instead of tying her life lessons. And it was just a summary of every chapter and saying, here is how you can get over these same issues or deal with these same issues that I dealt with. I'm reading a book right now, The Invisible Ache, with Courtney B. Vance. And it's a similar setup because Courtney tells part of his life story, and then the co-author, I cannot think of her name right now, she's a doctor. She provides like the psychology, like theories and best, practices behind what he just said. So reading another book with the same structure is like, why were y'all complaining? Like, y'all just do not like that lady because there was nothing wrong with those prompt pages.
That's in a lot of memoirs where people talk about what they've struggled with and, things they've overcome or things that have helped them. And they talk about that at the end of certain chapters. And I'm like, it's just human. It's just what we do.
Well, and I thought it did exactly what I tell people is why I read memoirs, but she helped me do it even better by saying, like, giving you the perspective, like, here's how the things that you should think about in your life. I was talking to somebody today. I said, I read all kinds of memoirs, even people I don't necessarily know or maybe don't even necessarily agree with, because I think it just gives you such an interesting perspective on. I think about Mariah Carey all the time.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't like Nicole. I was not a fan of Mariah Carey's after her whole unicorn, glittery, whatever stuff.
Yeah.
That book gave me a totally different perspective and appreciation for her.
Yeah, because everybody, you think she's such a diva, and that's all you know her.
Mariah Carey.
Yeah, you think of her as being this diva that we all see and just being fabulous and having it all, but then like you actually read her memoir and it's just she has this incredible come up story, this struggle. I think there was even parts where she was talking about not having shoes or shoes that didn't fit her or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, and it's just like it's so nice to see that side of people. And I don't understand readers, and I think we've talked about this before in the group or whatever, but just people who rate memoirs so harshly. I'm like, this is this person's life story. How can you judge them on what they're willing to tell us, what they're not willing to tell us? If you think their life is boring, it's their story to tell. Like whether you like it or not, like you're judging it too harshly.
Choose.
Yes, it's hard for me to give a memoir under 4 stars. I have to give it at least a 4 stars. The only thing I did not like about Worthy was the after the book came out press tour, because I felt like before Jada was standing strong on what she was saying, like blah blah blah, but then I feel like once the book came out, I saw a couple articles about how it didn't do good. It wasn't a bestseller at first. I felt like she kind of started to backtrack a little bit on some of her stuff, because then she was changing up like, no, but me and Will, and I was like, I wanted her to stay strong on what she was saying, because I felt like she started to backtrack to appease people. And she kind of sold me over once I read the book. Like, oh, I think I kind of like her now. And so I just wanted her to stay strong on what she said and how she said it and meant what she said. No, we was not together. When he called me wife, yes, I looked out the side of my eye. But then she did an interview recently where she was like, no, we together, and it's like, no, you just said y'all wasn't. Like,
stand on it. But it goes exactly what she said she did on the Red Table Talk. She was like, I retreated into the people pleasing, whatever, that's the same thing. Like she, in that moment, instead of opposing him publicly, she decided to just back up. And then he said whatever he said about, I'm gonna get you back though. She's like, wait, hold on, bro. She said, my voice came back out. Like, wait a minute. What you mean you gonna get me back?
It's the woman's thing of taking care of everybody else. Because we get blamed for everything anyway. She's blamed for the slap. She's blamed for Red Table Talk. She's blamed for August Alsina. She's blamed for everything. And it's the way people do women. And I guess with her knowing that and her background, she's like, okay, let me retreat. I'll just take it. Like,
because they're gonna She was like, this was my hit to take. I'm just gonna take it.
Yeah, that was my issue with the backlash.
They've been working on getting back together off and on too. So
and we don't know when
they are kind of together. I think they are conflicted too.
Yeah,
they are, but they have both said divorce is not an option. So we're together. We may not be together.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They are together.
We're not apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all those people coming after her with so much ridiculous negativity, that'll break you and make you do all that backtracking and whatever. Everybody, sticking a dagger in your face and coming for you.
Yeah. Yeah. You just retreat. It's like, okay, think what you want. I didn't know she was friends with MC Light. I don't recall knowing that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. That was a surprise. Yeah.
That's always my answer when I'm finally just like, you know what, I just say, sure.
Whatever you say.
That's it. Like, I'm done. Sure.
Now hearing that Janae and Martin were friends first, right?
Yeah.
Like they were extremely close. I had no idea.
And I like how she talks about her kids, but she doesn't really go a lot into their life. Like she leaves that for their story to tell, because I'm very curious about like her kids. And I thought she was going to talk about, remember there was a time where I think it was Kourtney Kardashian. She always had, what's the boy name? Oh my God. Jaden. Remember Jaden was always with her, like hanging out with her at her house. And I think he was still, because he used to be on the TV show, and he was still he was under 21 at that time because he was friends with the younger sisters, but then Courtney kind of took him under her wing, and him and that one white boy, she always had them at her house. And I thought she was going to like kind of touch bases on that, because I remember it was kind of like a thing, like, why is this grown woman always with these kids, you know? But she doesn't really go into her kids. And I think that's kind of a good thing, because she's leaving it for them to tell their stories. But I was kind of curious, because you really don't hear a lot anymore about Jaden or Willow. You used to hear a lot about them, and now it's kind of like they disappear. Like you don't hear nothing about them.
And they probably like it like that and wanted to stay like that. She is to stay with her family. You know, that'd be a little war if she wrote about them in the book and all. You know,
I was glad that she shed a little light on Willow too, because I just remember with my hair coming out, and then all of a sudden she shaved it all off, and I was like, "How do you have this song and now you have no hair?" Like, but you know,
I read that somewhere that she did it to because she didn't want to sing anymore.
Yeah, she rebelled.
They were trying to make her.
She talked about it
So
in
she
the
was
book.
like, "I just cut my hair."
Mm-hmm.
That was
she was rebelling.
That was in Will's book also.
Yeah, Will said too. He said she was just like, "I'm done, Daddy."
Yeah.
Right. Like I made this hit song. I'm in the limelight. Okay, I'm done. And even like Jaden, because he had hit movies and stuff. He was acting with his dad. He had that Karate Kid movie that was his. And so to me, it was just kind of like he disappeared, you know, from that scene too. So it's very
Didn't Jaden
interesting.
want to be what is it, emancipated at one time? Jaden was over it. He was ready to go live on his own.
He moved out. She said he moved out at what, 15 or 16?
He was young.
He was like, I'm over this whole family. I'm out.
Right. I'm over y'all shenanigans.
I know Willow is now back. She's back doing her own music. I don't know if you guys have seen videos.
I've seen some video clips here and there.
Yeah, Will is very supportive of her, and she just looked like now she's doing it the way she wants to do it.
Yeah.
Her element. So I love that.
It seems like a lot of artists, they have to follow the rules and do it, you know, the this way, the record label's way, to kind of have their breakout moment. One that sticks out is like Pink. When she came out, she was more R&B, and I loved her in that. Like, to me, the pink hair, the R&B vibes that she was given, and then it was just kind of like, okay, LA wanted me to do this. This is not me. I want to be more punk rock, and she totally switched up what she was doing. So, you know, I guess you got to kind of have to sell your soul to break into the business until you can stand on your own and do your own thing.
Or stay away. Like one of T.I.'s kids, one of the oldest ones, I think his name is Messiah. You don't see him ever on the show, but that's because the record label he was going after wanted him to distance himself from
the shenanigans. Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of popped up
as well. Damani's distanced himself, and he's doing.
I was gonna say, yeah, Damani is the one that has been popping up, I think, on the internet lately with his music.
Is that the oldest one? Because that's what I'm talking about.
The next to the oldest.
Okay, I was talking about them. Talk about the oldest one. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole family is another story. Someone needs to write a book from that family.
I'm not reading those books.
Oh, I'm reading that.
Oh, I would want to read that too.
You know, I'm gonna read it.
Right. T.I. Tiny, one of them.
Did you see in the news how he was carrying on with his parents, and it was just a big old?
Is that the Falcons game?
Yeah. King stand on business.
Right.
Yeah.
That kid want to be from the struggle life so bad.
So bad.
Like, but you grew up with a great life on TV. Like, stop it.
Right.
So while we have a brief pause, it feels like I tried this. This is really good.
The she can. Yeah.
They are so good.
It's very good. And the can is so pretty.
What flavor is that? I can't see.
This is rosé.
Okay.
It's soda or wine.
No, that's probably the best canned wine I've ever had.
Is that the Black Girl Magic brand? Yeah. Okay.
So just shameless plug, since we're BGM right now, it's got a little like lion head on it.
Jessica, I know your sponsor. You up here doing an infomercial.
I wish, because they need to sponsor this mini bar rosé I just opened up.
You know, you just made me think. Let me go check on them, because they used to have a book club. What happened?
Oh, they should.
Oh, they did.
It made me so mad. It's like people used to send me stuff like, this person stole your name, and
sorry, I didn't mean
it's actually Black Girl Magic. Sorry. Black
Yeah,
Girl
we're not
Magic
talking about
wine.
nobody else's book club, so forget that.
That part.
We don't talk about nobody else's book club.
FYI. Yeah, I'm looking at their stuff right now and I'm not seeing their book club posts. Like it's been a minute. The last thing I remember them doing was Tunde from Tunde Oyene's book from Peloton. But I have not seen a post they folded. What they should have done is partnered with my ass and I could have kept that shit going. Just give me the free wine and then, I'll host the books in the chats. I'm already doing it. Which is funny because they've sent me promotional stuff. I can't remember whose book. Oh, what was that? It was that book, Opal and Nev.
Oh, yeah.
They sent me like 2 bottles of wine, a record for Opal and Nev, and the book. Like it was this big thing that they did. But yeah.
That was a good audiobook though. That was
it was.
Yeah.
Really?
That's a full cast, and it's not often you hear that on an audiobook.
Yeah, it was a whole cast. It was really, really well done. And you could it was like listening to it like a mockumentary, a documentary type thing. It was really cool.
Maybe I need to try the audio because I DNF the book.
Oh yeah, the audio is the best.
You listen to the audio.
I'm
I
glad
try
y'all
not to
said that.
DNF often. But yeah, that one.
I listened to the audiobook last year, but it was before I got into audiobooks and it sounded junky and noisy. All the different characters, the voices. I was like, what is this crap? And why did Renee pick this book? I didn't finish the audio. But now that I listen to audiobooks and I've learned like to adjust the speed and different things, maybe I could listen to it. I think I bought it. I think I actually paid my own money for it. So I might listen now that y'all said that.
Trying to remember. I think at the time, I know Simon gave me that book. Like they gave me a lot of promotional stuff, but I was able to get the author. I think the author was supposed to come on with us, but my grandfather passed right when that happened, so I had to cancel it too. So sometimes that's a factor too. But I don't care about authors coming on anymore, if I'm being honest. Like, I mean, it's nice to have them, but I don't really push for them like I used to.
We get to be more honest when they don't.
Right.
Yeah.
For the record, I've not seen Black Girl Magic post a book post since May of 2022. So,
wow.
As far as I can tell, it's been a little minute. Oh, no, I take that back. August. They did that We Are Not Like Them with the 2 authors, Christine Pride and Joe Piazza.
Oh, yeah.
That seems to be... their book club is weird, though. It's like they do them every... once in a while. Okay, I take that back. So there is more. They did Pinky Cole's Slutty Vegan cookbook, I guess, which is a random weird. Exactly, like you're just gonna go over the recipes. I mean, I'm sure she joined the chat, but that just seems weird.
Interesting.
Okay, so October of last year seems to be the last one, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, they've moved on to other things. I did have, like, I'm looking at my notes with things that were in the book. Did y'all figure out, where is it? She named this person Lance in the book, the one that was like chasing her. Did y'all figure out who that was?
I was gonna ask y'all, who was that?
I assumed it was an athlete.
Yes.
About his size.
Yeah.
And I was like, who was that? I didn't think it was probably a football player or somebody. I remember Hallie with David Justice, and I was like, not him.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it to an athlete because she kept talking about how big he was.
Yeah. Although she's super tiny, so anybody up to her is gonna be
that too.
Swimming. But yeah, that's what I assumed too. That it was some type of athlete. But I'm like, I could not pinpoint who this person was.
That was the one who became kind of abusive, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And he was chasing her, right? Wasn't she hiding in the house?
Right.
Yeah.
I remember.
And he got mad that she left him to go with Pac when he got shot.
Which is crazy. People's expectation for her to act like Tupac did not exist, like that they did not have a significant bond.
Yeah.
It is weird.
That's like a brother
Charleston White went on this whole rant I forgot. Yeah, I can take him or leave him, but he just said that bitch is lying. She ain't. Tupac didn't propose to her, and I'm like,
only for his family.
Listen,
only for his family to come out and say, "Yep, that happened."
Wow. I didn't know they came out. I've heard the controversy. Like, there's a TikTok video that somebody made and was like, the timeline's not adding up when he was in Rikers and blah, blah,
girl, I
blah.
stopped listening to that because she was going so far into it. But then people were mad about saying, "Oh, she exposed that he had alopecia." They said that in the documentary.
Right.
You did
Like,
that.
come on.
People just be looking for reasons to get mad at her at this
That's in
point. It's
his
like
book.
anything she talks about.
After the book was released, you heard nothing. All these people complaining and all this controversy. After the book was released, you didn't hear nothing from nobody.
Yeah. I was like, honestly, I haven't heard it being talked about, but for weeks. But there's so much other stuff that is come out in the news and things. Diddy and
I was about to say that overshadowed everything.
Right. But that were talking before, there was no evidence. We couldn't read and see what happened. They were just talking out of their mouths. But once the book came out, it wasn't anything like some of these people were saying.
Yeah, they're looking at these little 2-second sound bites and thinking, what's the point? She's telling the whole book, all of this. Most of the stuff that the sound bites are talking about have nothing to do with the book. Like, there's so much more to it.
But when you said Diddy just now, just see how my head turned. I went, was it Diddy that was chasing her?
Right. You never know.
But I felt like the house was in California.
Oh.
Wasn't she in California at the time?
I think so.
No, I thought she was on the East Coast.
Oh, was she?
Was she? I have to go back and
I don't know.
look.
They were on opposite ends, wherever it was.
I'm like, she had to give us some kind of breadcrumb or Easter egg to figure out who this is.
The only thing I would maybe do about Tupac is maybe put some information in there about like his memorial service, because my mama loves Tupac and she's under the impression that he's not dead, because she was like, you never saw a funeral for him. You never saw an obituary or a memorial like when Biggie died. They had his funeral and you never saw nothing about Tupac. She believes he's in Cuba. I'm gonna just let her have that theory. But I was trying to prove it to her because I was like, hopefully she'll could be. Because I was like, maybe she'll show us like an obituary or something that she did. And I was like, dang, that's the only thing I wanted to know. I didn't want to hear about alopecia. Show me the obituary because we got to see nothing.
Yeah, you might be chilling.
I'm not surprised that there's no obituary. Thinking about like Afeni makes me feel like she's unorthodox, or she was unorthodox to a certain extent. So that the funeral would also not follow the typical like Black traditions. And then because of how they said, or how Jada said that Suge Knight was somewhat involved, she had me talking about how much she could not stand that man. I said, no, Jada being that it is a memoir. Like, okay, you being that transparent about how much you did not like Suge. But I think
I was scared for her.
Documentary.
But isn't he in jail for like life? So she could say that.
Yeah, I mean, not that she's scared. No. I don't feel like she should not. It was surprising that she, let her disdain for him be so vocal. Like that she was so vocal about her disdain. I don't think she has a reason to ever be scared of him or whatever.
No, but what you're saying, I think she would have thought twice about it, is what I'm saying, if he were not locked up.
I don't think she would.
No, I don't think so. I think her love for Tupac is just that strong that I'm gonna let it be known, especially as a more evolved person. She doesn't feel the need to hold back anymore on how she feels about Suge. At least that's how
because he's in jail. I mean, he doesn't have goons out there that can still.
Yeah,
that's true.
And didn't she say too that Suge had him cremated?
Yes, and like it was immediate. Yeah,
what he wanted. Back to the services. It sounds like they processed it, did whatever, and then kind of handed him over to
like
it sounded shady. It sounded shady, actually. I was like, oh,
which would explain why there's no obituary or any formal type.
there's no
Get rid of the
like,
evidence.
Yeah, there's no evidence. So I was kind of like, oh, now I'm going to ask questions about that part.
I'm trying to remember, how was his memorial services portrayed in that documentary? Do you remember, Jess? I can't recall.
I think they just kind of.
I don't think they said.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah, it just was kind of like, okay.
I mean, if you think about his upbringing and all, that wasn't a, Biggie's mama was church and all of it. Like I expect a big spectacle kind of thing. And if Diddy had anything to do with it, it was gonna be over the top.
Yeah. And thinking back to that time, I was in college. Was I freshman year, sophomore year? But I don't remember in the news that there was a big to-do about, services or memorial.
Now, did we do that back then? Because this was in the 90s.
No. Well, yeah, because
I can remember when Pac died.
But I mean,
I dated a guy who was obsessed with Tupac, and I remember he caught me crying because one of the major publications had a headline that said, "Tupac, it's a wrap."
Wow.
And he was like, that's so disrespectful. Like, he was boo crying.
Wow.
I was torn up too when Tupac got killed.
So it definitely was big news, but no, there wasn't all of that. And let me plug a book now. If y'all have not read Let Me Hear a Rhyme by Tiffany D. Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
She captured that perfectly, what it felt like to put Biggie to rest. Because I lived in Philly at the time, but I was in college. All of my friends were from New York. I was in Brooklyn a lot. She captured that energy perfectly. And it does make you think like, damn, we didn't have that. We didn't see Pac go through all of this, like go through a community with a horse-drawn carriage or anything. It was just like MTV said Pac was dead, and we just took it as he was dead. But with Biggie, there was a lot of fanfare and hoopla around his death.
Diddy.
And again, go read Let Me Hear a Rhyme if y'all didn't, because people love to say they love Tiffany D. Jackson, but don't never read that book.
Yeah.
Touched.
Look, let me go look. I know I've read that.
I read that book and loved that
twice.
I read it.
And haven't read
it. I read it.
I still attribute all of that to Diddy and made a whole song about it. The children doing TikTok.
Yeah, it's probably all about that.
Diddy.
You're right.
I mean, we can blame Diddy for everything. But shout out to Diddy.
Maybe it was New York. Maybe it was just New York.
He gave us velour
Diddy for what? Shout out to Diddy.
Velour sweatsuit. Because it came up in my Facebook memories for today. Apparently, something about Sean John coming back, and my caption was like, "Oh, 5 niggas in velour sweatsuits."
Yeah,
but I didn't repost it because y'all all mad at Diddy. I was like, I'm not gonna repost it, but Sean John was popping.
But
I do want to say, as far as I know, as us as readers, we did not like the sound bites and the sensationalism of it. But I saw so many of my friends who don't read wanted to read Jada's book. Even if it was just because they wanted to be nosy or whatever. I think that whole thing of, as long as it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, as long as they're talking. I think those sound bites work to her advantage, because I saw so many people rush out to read the book. I'm seeing people on my timeline like, you read a book? So I mean, I personally didn't, because I'm not a memoir girl, and I just don't care about these people's lives. I didn't read Will, I didn't read Jada. There's a lot of memoirs I just don't have any interest in, but I was so excited to see people read. And I think the Shade Room and things like that, I think they did a service to introduce the genre to so many people who would not have picked up a book, and it was probably the only book they read in 2023.
Yeah, it was genius marketing on her part. These little sound bites that kept leaking, like, it was genius, because we've not seen a sound bite since the book has pretty much released, right? It's been quiet. So yeah, her marketing tactic was amazing.
Well,
you know what happened when her book came out? They made my daddy start to read, and he read her book, like you said, and then he read Cicely Tyson, and he getting on my nerves because every day he want to talk to me about Cicely and Miles Davis. And I'm like, Daddy, just finish the book. You're gonna hear how I feel out. Then he told me he need me to find out who Cicely's daughter is. Daddy, leave me alone. But what I also think happened with Jada book is, remember, after we was getting on her soundbites, Britney Spears book came out.
Yeah.
And I think that's what ended up taking over, because then we all wanted to know about Justin being a dog.
Justin Timberlake, he was in the news for a second, literally.
But the other thing is Will Smith didn't do any promo for his podcast, and y'all know I went hard for Will Smith's podcast because it was excellent.
It was so good.
I am hip hop. If you could describe anything about me, I am hip hop, and that was the best podcast I've ever heard in my life. And I think some people listened to it just because they thought it was going to be something about Jada, and I kept saying, no, it's not, but just listen. I think the genius marketing of, he sat back, he let her have her moment, he didn't contradict anything, and he was like, oh, by the way, I got a podcast, and people listened, and he passed on the gift of what hip hop is to our culture. So and I could tell it was calculated the way he did it. Like, I'm not going to steal her shine. I'm not going to rain on her parade. I'm going to let her have all of this marketing, and I'm going to slide my podcast in while y'all are on that. And so I love seeing that too. So there was benefits for me as someone who did not want their memoirs and didn't have any interest in it. It did make me want to hear something from him outside of his marriage.
Yeah.
What's the name of his podcast?
That was a good podcast.
Class of 88.
What is it?
The Class of 88.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if it's on. Last time I checked, I don't think it was on Spotify. It was just Apple.
It is on Spotify.
Amazon.
It's on
Spotify.
Well, they end up putting it on YouTube.
Unless they took it off.
It's only one episode though on.
Yeah, on Spotify. I'm on here now. October 26th, a 31-minute episode. That's the only thing on here.
What kind of I'm looking on Spotify.
Through, Amazon Music.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I have a paid subscription on Spotify, but even I can't access it. It says you have to have a special paid subscription for it.
You have to have a Wonderly subscription if you're on Spotify, but on Amazon Music, it's on in full.
Okay.
Doing too much. Like, I already pay for this. All right, Amazon Music is what I'll try.
Bernadette, can you hear me?
Oh, it's on Audible too.
Bernadette.
Yes.
We've been trying to catch your accent. Where are you from originally?
I was born and raised in New York.
Wow.
Are your people from New York? Because you sound like you have something else in you.
No, my mom was from Florida. My father was from North Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
Girl, we was trying to guess what island you came from.
No island.
It could be like them Gullah Geechees who are from South Carolina, but sound like they're from doggone Jamaica or somewhere in the islands. Like, they just, it's crazy to me. I'm like, we're in Charleston, South Carolina, right? And you sound like you're from across the water.
It's because
ain't nothing wrong with it. I went to school there.
Is it because I talk fast?
No, it's like you. It's like your accent.
No,
you do have an accent.
You have a thick New York accent, but we were like, maybe there's something else there, and we were trying to figure out what borough it was.
Yeah, it's not giving hard like a Foxy Brown or something, or a Remy Ma. There's some twang to it, like you had. Like you're first generation American and your parents came from an island. That's what it sounded like to me, just from me being a northerner and going to school with a bunch of kids from New York. You sounded like you would say to me, oh, well, I was born here, but my mom came from such and such island. And I was trying to catch that.
Oh, my peoples is from the South.
My peoples.
Probably from Africa somewhere back in the day, but that's it.
Well, y'all know I can't say nothing about accent.
Look, right. Hilarious.
I definitely can't.
Any other thoughts?
Oh, I wanted to say, and I know this is recording and probably streaming, but she mentions her guitarist for the band Pocket Honore. I did. His brother was my first boyfriend in high school.
Wow.
Says in the book he's from Baton Rouge.
You always know somebody have some connection.
Always.
A picture.
Got a picture.
The picture is coming. I know it.
I don't. No, I do not have any pictures with that gentleman anymore. There's someone probably at my mama's house. But
that's good for a story, a connection, a picture, something.
She mentioned it. She said he was from Baton Rouge, and she didn't say where anybody else in the band was from, but she said Pocket Honore from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I was like, look at that. I wondered if she was going to bring him up in the book because I knew he played for her. But before he played with her, he played with Shy.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm dating your brother, but I really like Garfield. Can you But yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I was like,
man, I couldn't name anybody else in Shy besides Garfield if my life depended on it.
That's more than I've got.
And them three other people. I don't know anybody else.
That's more than I've got.
That's all I got.
I mean, Garfield had the Puerto Rican hair back in the day. Like he was. Hey, y'all know I like him deep dark, but he was fine in the 90s.
That deep.
Yes, he was.
Don't have to worry, baby. I had a huge crush on him.
Jessica, what's your shirt say?
I was gonna ask that question too. What does it say?
Backwards? It says thoughts and policy, and then that's stricken out and
prayers
says,
are cut. Yeah,
policy and change.
I love that.
Get rid of these thoughts and prayers and make some change, man.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I will say I like Jada book more than Kerry Washington.
For sure. She gave us more. She gave us more juice. Yeah. Carrie's wasn't bad, but she didn't give us nothing. Really.
Yeah, I tried with Carrie. I was trying to listen to it on the train. I just kept falling asleep. But I was really engaged in Jada. I was like, oh, they went into what house? Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen if you're gonna get killed? You know.
It was cool to see her post that video with Tupac after hearing about it and how it was created in that song. And then she posted it, I think, right before or around the time her book released. But I was like, that was really cool that you still have that. You know.
And everyone went crazy on her in the comments of them videos.
Right. I'm like, bro, let her be.
Right.
And I'm like, just keep scrolling. Why are you
Why are you even following her? Like, just
follow her just to be mad.
The fact that she has to limit her comments or not take any comments on her Instagram posts. I'm like, why? Just
that's crazy.
Right. If you don't like it, unfollow it. Like, simple as
that. I would say that
radio silent after the book came out. Just the way no one talked about it. I mean, they had so much to say
because they wasn't about to read the book.
Right. Right. They just want to speculate and talk shit.
But I will say that her book and Will's book mirrored each other, and so I felt like it was the truth. I don't know if she went back and looked at his pages or whatever, but they were telling the stories the same. And so I was like, okay, this is how it really went down.
Yeah,
this is how they really felt about the situation. Like the whole and how they got married and why they got married and her not necessarily wanting to be married. Like all of that was exactly the way that Will described it.
Yep.
And so it's like, if y'all gonna say what y'all gonna say about her and the way that their marriage, transpired or whatever, then you got to say the same thing about Will, because he said the same thing.
Problem. Yep. That was my problem with people. It's like, I don't know if they didn't read the book, Will's book, which is, I mean, that probably is the case, but they were telling they have said the same thing, literally.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But everything is Jada's fault. Mm-hmm. Everything.
Right.
Everything.
And I'm like, y'all know that he almost held his last wife hostage, right? Like he didn't want to divorce her.
Yeah.
She was like, it's over. And he was like, nah, I'm family.
And I love he for real cheated in their marriage, not a post separation entanglement, but like was legit cheating. Like, come on now.
I respect though in both of their.
I like the way she described their, I guess, agreement. Like, I liked that she addressed, like, she was like, people thought we were swingers and we were doing all these things. And she was like, let me lay it out for y'all how we,
what it was,
decided to go about our marriage. And I was like, okay, that makes a lot more sense. And like, obviously we weren't in it, so we didn't know. But like, yeah, I was glad that she mentioned that.
That was basically the same arrangement that Ruby Ozzy Davis had. And I think she actually mentioned them one time. I'm sure Ruby D one time, maybe. But they wrote about it in their book. And they were like, they did that for like maybe, I don't even know, years. And then they decided to stop. So I'm like, she's not doing nothing. They're not doing anything new.
I need to go read this.
People were just on them for no reason.
And it's their marriage. Like, everybody's mad at Jada except Will. And everybody's mad at the couple except the couple.
Right. Man, I've been saying that for the longest. Like, how are y'all married? I mean, how are y'all mad and y'all are not in it? Will is not mad. He's sitting right there kikiing. They all in the kitchen laughing at the
damn tour. Right.
Right. Will said, I ain't going nowhere.
I mean, even that Red Table Talk, they were like, "Oh, he was hurt and he was upset." He already knew what they were talking about.
No, he's okay because he showed up. He showed up for it. He wasn't ambushed.
It was early.
He knew exactly what was going to happen. He already knew all of that.
But
he wasn't ambushed.
And not like he left afterwards. He stayed. So
right.
But she explained that so well. She was like, his eyes always
do.
Yeah. She was like,
she said he was tired. She said he was tired.
Like, he was tired. He just finished traveling. It was late. Y'all stop all of that.
Filming, you know, it's like people were reaching. They were reaching. So
people are extra.
I think Will has had the advantage of becoming or being America's sweetheart that we just don't see for Black men.
That's what it is.
And you know, so much we put him on such a pedestal. Is so benevolent and decent, and I'm not mad at it. Because we don't get that for our Black men. I'm not mad at it at all, but it's baseline to hate women. It is so innate to hate women, to hate Black women, to hate Black women who are unapologetic. And if Jada has been nothing else, she has been unapologetic since she burst on the scene. And so it just highlighted the misogyny and the hate in our community. But I've been really amazed at watching how Will has just been squeaky clean and not had to face the repercussions of whatever. And again, I'm ignorant because I haven't read either one of their books because I just, like I said, I don't want to know. I want to hear parents just don't understand. That's all I want to know about Will. Brand new funk. But I'm like, wow, because, you know, somebody said this to me a few years ago, and I think about it every time with Jonathan Majors, whoever. They'll say to me, name a Black man who has never been crucified in the media or had a scandal. And outside of Barack Obama, who they always try to get, we don't get that. You know, our Black men are villainized. And so,
that's
right, the tan suit. And so, like, watching Will come from the slap, the book, wherever, I'm like, people are really still trying to make him America's darling. And maybe it's because he made that weird ass 4th of July movie and the crackers loved it. I don't know.
Independence Day. I don't know. They still think he's the first.
The crackers loved it.
Wow, because they did. Because I don't watch movies. Y'all know me. I read. I don't watch movies. But I know the crackers loved it. But
you know what?
Has been put on such a pedestal that it's almost like, damn, we need to write a paper about how Will has escaped the wrath of everybody, even in this. Like, he wrote about it, like, and I knew it from what people who read both books kept saying, well, Will already said it. So why y'all mad at Jada? But Will escaped all of the backlash and the hate somehow.
But if you think about it, when Will was still rapping, this is my perspective. Remember, he was still rapping when like gangster rap and stuff came out. So he was like the white people's sweetheart, you know. He was the safe.
Still like him.
He was safe. He was safe for them to listen to. And then I think also with how the whole August Alsina thing came out, like how many times did we see that picture of him sitting there crying when we know 100% he probably already knew about it, but now that she put it in the public, so it made him look like, oh, all of this stuff is getting dumped on him. But if you hadn't read his book, you would have realized, forget Will, he probably deserved half of it, and they had an agreement. But when you didn't read it and all you see is this picture and her talking to him at the table and he up there with the Michael Jordan sad face, you felt bad for him. So of course now she became the evil one. We don't like her. Because look what she did to him. And it's like, do y'all not know what he did to her?
Right. And she made him slap Chris Rock. Like,
right.
But she's so gracefully. I love
But
her.
even with that slap, like he got up there and cried and we sang Kumbaya and we wasn't really mad. I mean, Chris Rock is a dick and Chris Rock don't like black women. But we still was like, all right, Will, you still are
There's a lot more to that.
We still loved him. And you know, I've said it to some of y'all separate from the group, but that rumor about him and Dwayne Martin, I have believed it for years that him and Dwayne Martin be knocking each other down. But the community thinks that. We have excused Wild Wild West. We have excused a lot of nonsense from Will. And I marvel at it. Like, not even that I'm a Will supporter, but I'm just like, damn, how is he doing this? Because the world at large will villainize any black man with some success. And somehow Will is squeaky and slides right on by and he keeps landing on his feet. And it's honestly amazing to watch.
I hated to see black women participate in the patriarchy. Like, the patriarchy doesn't need your help. Like, and that's always my thing. I'm never going to be a part of, like, let me just go ahead and drag this person down just because no one needs, I mean, this is exactly what we saw. And black women doing it to another black woman was just made me sad, because it's like, really, guys? Like, and you're doing it, and you can actually read a book and find out the truth, but you don't want to. You'd rather drag her. And that was bothering me.
Well, I loved even when she said like that, you know, Dwayne was trying to hook them up or whatever, however that happened. She was like, the Fresh Prince? No.
That clown?
Like, not
that clown?
No.
Do you remember
the Fresh Prince?
You remember back around that time, they were carrying on, they would because he wasn't a thug rapper, they would call him soft and all kinds of names back then. So that had a lot to do with it too. I mean, he's had his moments when the community wasn't so crazy about him either. And when he did this whole Chris Rock slap, he completely stayed away from everybody and everything and gave them time to try to forget. He stayed away for a while, but he has this stick-to-itiveness where he's gonna come back. He's gonna try as hard as he can. And this perseverance, and I give that to him where he is right now, because he perseveres no matter what. And when he's down, he's gonna climb back up as high as he can.
That's very
And
true.
you know, you saying that, one of my favorite things about his podcast, both he and Jeff said, I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted. I just didn't put in my songs. And I think I related to that so much. One, because I feel like Philly made me grow up in my time there. But I'm from the hood. I'm that girl. I'm from the hood, but don't get it twisted. I still have my degree. I'm still educated.
Right.
I just don't wear it on my sleeve all the time. And that's one of the things that I really thought was important, that he and Jeff came out and said, we're not from the suburbs. Like, check a map. We are literally from West Philly. But people, they put him on this pedestal. You know, he became the first rap video on MTV and all of these things. But to watch him still be that, to still have that influence, is honestly amazing to me, that they have not found a way to villainize him, create a scandal in his life. Even when they tried to get people riled up about the slap, which I wasn't mad at the slap. I feel
White
like
America was mad at the slap.
There's so many people that would have
ain't no big
never
deal. We gonna talk about
recovered
this.
from that.
Violent too. It's so violent. I mean, if you watch frat boys fighting on these videos, you know, like, y'all can be violent too.
Some of them got in a fight at an award show. I'm like,
I don't think they were as mad as they
months later.
Really?
Because I had read the book, the slap actually tracked. After he saw, I was like, oh yeah. I mean, I wasn't that shocked.
Yeah.
Honestly,
there was stuff leading up to that moment.
Right.
White
It was
America
like,
was
okay,
more
Will, I
shocked.
see you still need a little bit more therapy, but yeah, like I understood it. Yeah.
Oh, but then we already got a little bit of beef, but we kind of supposed to be cool. And then you called and asked my wife out.
Right.
Nah, bro. Then you want to sit here and talk about her? Mm-mm.
All that.
Because those of us that can sit back and look at the bigger picture all can accept that Chris Rock should have been slapped a long time ago.
A long
part. That part.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us
And they have
like,
and they have a history.
I get it.
Like they have a history. It wasn't about that one thing.
Exactly.
That was like the culmination of many things. That was just a straw.
It was very telling. It was very telling that all the other big stars were circled around Will in the audience, like
not Chris.
Denzel.
Right, because I feel like whatever Denzel says is right. Y'all not gonna ever tell me that Denzel wasn't right. So if Denzel was on Will's side, I'm on Will's side.
He never had no scandal. He never had
no
scandal.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Denzel is one.
Yep.
He hasn't had one that I can think of.
Oh, well, remember what that movie he did with Sanaa? That almost was a little scandal.
What was that? The movie where like she stole some money or something?
Out of Time or whatever that was called. Out of Time.
That was with what's her name?
No, I feel like they
Pinkett
tried to make it
right?
seem like Denzel and Sanaa messed around. Not that we believe it, but
I don't even remember that.
I vaguely remember that.
I kind of seems like I remember something.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't go anywhere, but
so
like
this
the rumor didn't get big. Yeah,
this is semi-related, but kind of. So I went to see Django on Christmas night, like when it came out. And as I was like, this is why I need to play the lottery. Because I was sitting in the movie and I said, I wonder if they've ever put the wrong movie on, like when you're in the movie. And they did it that night and they put Flight on, and that opening scene with him in the bed with that naked woman and the whole theater. Y'all know who was going to see Django. The theater started hollering, this ain't what we came here to see. Oh my God. It was hilarious. It was Flight. It was Denzel. But no, Denzel hadn't had any scandals. He's been quiet.
And that makes me happy because, like I said, when somebody posed that question to me, I'm like, damn. You be thinking like somebody's cool and there's something that'll come out that they try to villainize them. We don't always buy it, but there's always a smear campaign for our Black men.
And Lord, my heart is about Diddy. I don't want to cancel him like R. Kelly. My heart is breaking. But he
I don't mind.
Yeah, and I'm I really don't.
Who used to Diddy bop. I don't mind.
Somebody on Twitter said, so what music do we have to give up? Because I'm not giving up Total, the remix.
None of it.
On so much.
I mean, I could give up a couple Diddy verses though. Like I don't listen to Trey songs. I don't listen to R. Kelly, and it's no big deal. Like I'm not like this. Oh, I gotta clean up my playlist, but it's very easy to let them go. But R. Kelly's pen and R. Kelly's production, I ain't saying I'm going that deep.
Yeah, I deleted R. Kelly songs.
I'm gonna listen to 112 no matter what. You're not going to take 112 from me, even now that they're only 56, and I hate that. I'm gonna still listen. But I could let go of Diddy. I could very much let go of Sean
Even though I did like that what was it called? Was it Dirty Money?
Dirty Money.
That album
Dirty
was
Money.
good.
Listen,
With Dawn.
I'm with Suge. If you don't want the producer all up in the video, all up in the
Suge and his Jerry curl don't go somewhere.
All I heard was I'm with Suge, and I was like, what? Dancing all up in the videos. Boy, the times we have lived through, huh? That was crazy.
And there are some people it's really hard to separate the art. You know, like I tell people, being a Temple alumni, watching Bill Cosby fall from grace was so hard. It was like, oh my goodness, my favorite uncle. I'm a Cosby kid, all the way back to Fat Albert and all of that. Like I can remember what I had on the first episode of the Cosby Show.
I used to love picture pages.
Yeah, so it's been hard, but one thing I always say is think about how many of us chose at HBCU because of Bill Cosby or just education at all. he influenced a generation. And it's very hard for me to separate the the person from the art. But I believe he did it because where there's smoke, there's fire. And Bill Cosby did something. He might not have did everything, but he did something. And so that's kind of how I feel like trying to even separate Diddy because he was groundbreaking. Even making the band was not a new show. They had a white group before Diddy came and touched the franchise. But when Diddy touched it, it became something that must see TV. And so it's very hard for me as a 112, Mace, different people, the Locks. I liked all of them. I don't necessarily miss any music by Diddy, but his art is the soundtrack for my youth.
Yeah, that was my first concert ever. I actually went with LaFace Records. It was in Nashville because Usher was opening, so we had a connection there, and we went to see Usher open. But it was Puff Daddy and the Family World Tour, so everybody you just named, like Diddy, Mace, The Lox, Foxy Brown was there, Busta was there, 112, Faith Evans, like everybody was on this tour. It was a memory. That was my very first concert as I think I was in 7th grade or something like that.
Yeah, he blessed us with a lot of good music. Craig Mack, all of that. Biggie. We've been blessed with a lot of good music, but he's definitely a trash person, and we knew that. We knew that when he made them kids walk to Brooklyn to buy
that cheesecake.
That cheesecake. That cheesecake and
I used to go to Junior's all the time. I never thought to even try the cheesecake until that show.
Man, the band, man, that shit was the bomb. I had the album and everything. I used to kill it.
Hey, Bernadette.
Bye, Bernadette.
Oh, bye-bye.
Bye. Me and my island accent.
I mean, you might have to play it back to yourself, but it's there.
He's gone. See you next year. Craziness. Any other final thoughts with the book?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was, I had planned on reading it anyway, but I thought it was good. It's her story. We can't be mad at how people tell their story, how they choose to live their lives. And then you just don't know what people have been through. But
right.
Loving to hear about her parents and their addiction and all those things. That created a big void in her of having to make sure that she kept people around, that she kept people satisfied. And
I enjoy hearing about her grandparents too.
That's
yeah.
Again, because I have not read the book and I'm not a fan, I like the villain because I am an agent of chaos. So I really hope she is dog walking that nigga. I hope she's dog walking Alcina. I'm like, yes. Every time they say she did something to make a nigga cry, I'll be like, yes. I'd love to see us be an agent of chaos instead of a victim, instead of mistreated and at home crying while he's out doing him. I honestly hope she did all the shit they say she did. So many times it's us getting dog walked. And so I'll be like, yes, Jada, eat them up. And, I be mad when men talk about her. But as a woman, I'd be like, yeah, I hope she did it.
Right. Because they be so in their feelings. Like, how dare she?
Yep.
Oh my gosh,
like
the way
shit
they
he done put her
cry.
through. Right.
They cry so much, and I'm like, sir, this does not affect you.
They're so fragile.
Jada would have never sniffed you in a million years.
Anyway.
Get over it.
Right.
I really be hoping she
woman.
dog walked Willie from Philly, August Alsina with his bomb ass twist out. I hope she got all of these niggas.
Willard Carroll Smith.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, I hope
she talked about how not Willard. You got me saying Willard. Alcina was not her son's best friend,
right?
And he is not just this little innocent little kid that everybody wants to make him out to be. Man. And they met each other where they were in their struggles.
And we did what we did, and it was done, and we knew about it. Then he just decided to start talking about it all of a sudden.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what she said.
People get mad and they flip the switch.
Mm-hmm.
You broke my heart. You ended this little, entanglement that we had, and now I'm mad, so I'm about to go talk.
Lord, we will never. She's like, you're welcome for that word.
Right.
And I'm like, he exposed all of that, and then we still didn't download the album, bruh. Like,
Right.
he did that just
right.
to make us listen, and we still don't want to hear your falsetto. Boy, bye. He better get an OnlyFans because we already know a nigga built like that. Behold,
skinny, tall, and
but
skinny.
but then he came out with that boy that he be with, that he calls his, what does he call him, his best friend or something? I'm like, August, we've been new. I only know of August because years ago on Instagram, this one guy posted his Man Crush Monday. I had never heard of Man Crush Monday before. I'm like, oh, what is that? And I clicked the link and I'm like, oh, he's cute. And it was all gay guys posting August Alsina. So I'm like, this posting this light-skinned boy you've been hanging out with is very on brand for you, because the boy's been posting you and hyping you up.
Hilarious. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Definitely got more than I expected. So glad that we read it. It was definitely, because I was going back and forth between Carrie and doing Jada as a book club selection. I'm glad we went with Jada, because it was definitely Carrie would have gave us nothing to talk about.
I enjoyed Carrie's book, but it was
right. They're very different. Yeah, this one definitely gave us more to talk about.
Yeah,
agreed. I liked Carrie's.
Carrie's was nice, but I haven't finished it yet.
That's exactly what it is. Nice. Like,
that's right.
Yeah.
Nice way to put it. Nice. It's nice.
Oh, but her mama actually has the story.
Right. Yeah, her mom should write the
yeah.
Her mom and I guess her
tea, sis.
They sound like they had a lot of chaos.
It is so funny just how much of her mama's tea she gave, but none of hers. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It was all about mama's.
We got all the details behind her mama's tea, but we got the summary version of your life. Like, what is going on with you and your man? Please.
Right. What's really happening?
So weird. So weird. Renee, how was the movie last night?
What'd you say?
The movie.
Oh my gosh, y'all. It's amazing. Please go see it. So much more than I expected. I can't remember the words I used earlier, but the way it's very different because it's a musical, but just the dancing, the singing, like, it's all incredible. They did it justice is all I can say. The acting.
What movie?
The Color Purple.
The Color Purple. Sorry, I went to see a screening yesterday. It's everything and some. I'm definitely gonna go see it again when it comes in theaters. It's really good, really good. So definitely check it out.
I saw this guy on TikTok that said, he was like, it's nothing that you'll expect. He said it's not like the movie, it's not like the play, the musical, but it's amazing. And he kept talking about how good Fantasia was. And it's somebody that, like, I follow. He's a big content creator, and I would trust him. But that made me excited about it, like the way he described it. And of course, I haven't seen the musical, so I don't have a frame of reference, but I know the movie and the book. He was like, it's none of those things. It's its own separate thing.
It's a whole,
don't go
it's a whole,
wanting it to be something else.
That's the best way to describe it. It's a whole production, like where you would think that they're just going to sing this boring song walking through a field or whatever. It's not like that. There's a whole, like, people in the streets dancing and just, like, I mean, getting down. Like, it's just, there's no way to describe it. It's us, you know what I'm saying? And it's just watching them move and dance and all these moving parts. It's fascinating to see how they choreographed this entire movie. It was incredible. You know, you still got some of your favorite lines in there. Danielle was absolutely amazing as Sophia. Like, she was spot on, the best. Like, she was incredible. Taraji did great as Shug. I mean, all of the characters. I have no complaints on any of them.
I
The only
heard
one
it played closer to the book than the movie did.
there's parts of it where, because like I think I was having this discussion, I took my mom and my aunt, and they were surprised, I think, at the part, for those that have read the book, that Celie and Mister are like friends after, and I'm like, yeah, that's in the book. Like it talks about their friendship and how they come together. They show that in the movie, so yeah, it's definitely closer to what the book is, what is in the book. Trying to think. The only character.
Did they show their friendship in the musical? Can't remember.
I don't know. It's been a minute since I saw it on Broadway
So
like
long since I've
a
seen
long time ago, so I don't even remember.
Yeah.
The only character for me that wasn't really good for me was Sierra. She was just so random to me in as far as the casting. Because she's Nettie, as a grown Nettie.
Sierra, like
Cece, like Russell.
You should
Yeah.
see your face.
She's the older Nettie at the end of the movie, and so
I
it
didn't
was
even know she was in it.
Yeah,
I forgot she was in it.
She's older. She's older Nettie. They don't really advertise her,
It's
but
like the
that's
Nettie
her.
that comes back from Africa.
Yes, that's her in
Oh.
her clothing, and yes, in her African
Wait,
print clothing.
Russell Wilson, Sierra?
Yes,
Yeah.
she plays older Nettie and brings the kids back.
That's
And then
interesting.
I wished Squeak was awesome. Her was awesome. The only thing I wish she would have sang more. Like there was just, for her to have such a great voice, there's like, snippets of her singing for like seconds, but I wish there would have been more of that. But honestly, every character it was amazing.
Yeah, that's what the guy said. They cut out some of the songs from the musical that he had grown to love. And he also mentioned when her adult children come, he was like, they're more politically correct and they didn't have that weird fake African accent.
Yeah.
He was like, they let that go.
Yep.
I'm really excited on Sierra though.
Yeah, that part threw me. I was like, yeah, she can sing, but this just does not make sense. And then, and thinking of Hallie, like, everybody talks about their hair, right? Like her and her sister, and how they do such a great job of like hiding their dreads and stuff like that. And so I started to look and think about that, and I was like, she wears a hat the whole movie. I said, and when I started to look at it, like they're hiding her dreads like in there, and I was like, that's pretty cool. Like the front of it, I guess, is a wig that's like, looks like her hair in the little plaits, and then she's got a straw hat on, but I'm pretty sure her dreads are like in there in the hat. I was like, that was pretty cool how they like hid her hair like that too.
Stop playing with us and this baby now.
I know. just announce it, like hiding the hair in front of the belly and just all kinds. Like you're just, yeah, it's a lot. Just go
Danielle
ahead and announce
plays
it.
Sophia. Is that right?
Who? Danielle, yes. And she
Danielle and
was
Sophia.
incredible. She's probably my favorite. Just, I mean, Sophia has some of the
our
best
church girl.
Didn't she play on Broadway?
She was a Delta Gym actually in middle school, and she thought she was a Delta. It was so cute.
Yeah, she was probably my favorite character of all of them. Just, she's got a lot of, she's witty, like much like Oprah was, but she's even funnier. Like there's more, she's just got more wit throughout, and just these little punchlines and these jabs that she takes, and it's hilarious. It's really, really good. Like I definitely want to go see it again. It's worth it. So definitely check it out.
I'm glad you got to go. I was going to try to go. I was going to try to take my oldest because she's a theater kid, but there was just so much going on. And then when y'all posted the line, I said to her like, "Hey, I don't think."
And
that
was
she
at
forgot
7:15.
I had the ticket.
Yeah, that was at like 7:15. I'm glad. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the line at 7:15. I'm glad you sent that screenshot, because if I had gotten that, I wouldn't have gone.
I didn't receive an email.
Oh, you didn't?
Huh. No, I kept checking. I checked like my spam. I checked all this stuff. I'm like, and I even was like, well, maybe I gave them a different email address, but no, they never sent me anything. And when I saw your email and we started talking, I was like, yeah, I don't think we should try to go.
Yeah, and so I had kind of asked the guy, there's a guy, like a black guy that was like standing up front, just kind of like, he looked like he was security or something. But when I found out later, he was like I don't know, the head of it all or whatever, because he was making announcements like in the theater, like if anybody has a laptop or a phone and you're caught with it, you're getting kicked out. If you tap you on your shoulder, you're getting kicked out. Anyways, I walked up to him because I seen this long ass line and I was like, okay, do I need to go in that line? I said, my name, like, I don't have tickets on an email like everybody else. I said, there's a list. Like, they put me and my guests on a list. He's like, no, just walk up to that girl with the blonde hair and, like, tell her your name. So I was able to, like, skip everybody in the line, go up to this lady, get wristbands, and go right in, which worked for me. But, like, some lady tried to slide in behind me and she was in that longer line. And I was like, sis, you're not getting in. Like, my name is on that list +2. Like, so she ended up like having to go back into the longer line, but it was crazy because they were probably only letting in 1 or 2 people every 10 minutes or something like that. And then of course, like the VIP seats were the top half and then the bottom half was open. So it was kind of interesting in how people are trying to find seats and save seats and all that kind of stuff too. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't have gone for like just general entry with that because there was no way. I think another Christina came in there and said the line was too long and she wasn't able to get in, but they gave her a voucher to go for free when it opens in theaters.
Oh, well, that was nice.
Yeah, I was like, for waiting in that line, that shit was long.
Yeah, me and my mom had plans until I received their email about limited seating. And I called my mom. I said, yeah, so I don't have to do this.
I honestly
am not driving over there.
I wouldn't have.
Relatively close. It's like, no, we're not doing all of this for a possibility.
And I didn't understand the method behind that. Like, if you're gonna partner with me as Book Girl Magic, if you give us 25 tickets and 25 people, you know, use those tickets, then that should be it. You shouldn't be giving it to 5 other groups,
right,
and whatnot. I'll be right back, y'all. I gotta go answer this.
Yeah, so I don't know. Well, Renee would then say, "What is everybody reading?"
I was waiting on that part too.
Timmy went upstairs, so I couldn't. No, you're fine.
I'm reading Britney Spears.
Oh,
Britney Spears was good.
I just got my loan for that.
So I'm listening to it. Yeah, I'm reading. So that's I started that earlier today.
I'm doing an audiobook for Leslie Jones.
Ooh. Oh, nice.
Oh, you got that on hold.
Audiobook is so good.
I think that's gonna be. I think that's gonna be February's book club selection.
Oh, so I need to wait then.
Audio.
Okay.
There's no way there's no read the book.
She's like just kind of going off the cuff with her audio. She just
hit him, lock the door, bitch.
So yes, it's like they just gave her a mic and let her riff, and she was chef's kiss. I loved her version of an audio book.
Anybody on here actually the book? Because what I want to do is compare. I did the audio. And to y'all's point, I'm like, the book cannot read like this.
Yeah. She said that it didn't on the Breakfast Club on her interview. She said that in the book is the book, but in her audio, she is just telling the stories off the
the audio was phenomenal to me. And then I have an affinity for people who cuss, so I know I posted in the group and somebody said something about profanity. And I was like, that's the part I like.
Jess, what is happening right now?
Jess, I'm like, Jess is in a whole different outfit in a whole different room. Like, what is happening here?
It's the same room. It's the same room.
I did a double take. I'm like, you're in a different part of the room.
When y'all started talking about Leslie, I was like, oh, I got to get back on. So the book is very different than I don't know.
The audio.
Yeah, I don't even know what the book is. I knew I had to hear the audio. When I saw it, I was like, I need to hear her.
Yeah.
And she had, you can tell she has the book there because she'll go, oh, I told them this, I wanted to say this, but they let her riff. They just let her go.
Yeah.
And she just is, she's Leslie. She's just in your face. I'm going to say it how I feel. And she laughed and she cried and she ranted. She turned into like a crazy auntie that hated everything. I couldn't imagine what the book is like because that's why the audio is 17 hours because she's just
oh my God, is it?
Yes. The book is only like 250 pages, maybe 300 and the audio
she talking up something on that audio then.
Black Thought's book was a lot like that too. He was very kind of off the cuff. He was just talking.
See, I listened to his that Audible only version of his before this book came out. I listened to that. So I'm like, is this any different from the book that just came out?
I listened to it. I didn't read it. I listened to it, and I was like, but even the way he was talking, he was like, we did this, and it was like boom, 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 and then blah blah blah. And it's like,
wait, who is that? See, that's the way that they have those Audible only books for different artists.
I checked it out
and
from
I
the
listened
library.
to that one, but that was before his current book came out.
Okay,
yeah, I do want to listen to his. My inner Philly John feels like I gotta listen.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Bye, Amy.
Bye, Amy.
Bye, Amy.
Bye.
I know we're just talking, so if y'all have to
I
drop
saw
off,
somebody. I saw a review where
I'm
somebody
reading
was
Zora
complaining
right
about
now.
Leslie Jones cussing, and I was like, "Oh, I got to put that
Cos
on right
McCoy
now."
book.
Yeah, I just finished that one. That was my last read.
What do you think of it? Should I read it? Because I really dislike that Savvy Sheldon, whatever it was called.
It's
I don't want her to waste my time.
Once it gets to like the love triangle and she's dating two best friends, it does get interesting and like who she chooses and things like that. So, I mean, I liked it.
What book is this?
It's on my list.
Zora.
Got it on my shelf. Never ending books.
Zora's book, something.
I have a question though. I need to know, Erica Rivers, how in the hell do you be reading 300 books? That's like a book a day. What do you do? How? What am I doing
Because
wrong?
I literally, first of all, I don't have a social life. Like, you
Nona?
never see me post about going anywhere. I don't watch TV.
She got you one.
But, and of course, I never skip a day, but it did make a difference when I started doing my white on white crime while I work. that added to it, but I didn't know. Like, when I met my 100 books in April, I was like, girl, how did you do that? I didn't expect to get to 300 books, but when I got to November and I saw how close it was, it made me focus. Like, girl, you got to pick up the pace because you're so close to reading 300 books for the year. But
I thought it was going to be a struggle for me to get this.
I want to read, so I read.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be a struggle for me to get to 75.
Sorry, Nina.
No, you're okay. I was going to say, I thought it was going to be a struggle for me to get to 75 because I think I was like at 62 or something like that. But Thanksgiving break, I probably knocked out about 7 books in like just 4 days, something ridiculous like that. And so now I'm on 73.
For Thanksgiving, and then I kept seeing Renee post, and I'm like, okay, Renee's reading, girl. You better go fucking read. Renee is reading.
Keep my streak up.
Right. It just became like somebody reached out to me, which I thought it was a little weird, but she was like, "How do I start a bookstagram?" Girl, just start one. I said, but if you notice my content, I'm not a content creator. You're not going to see any reels. You're not going to see any cute graphics. I am reading. Everything that I do is reading. Like I just added the Fable app because somebody on Bookstagram invited me to do a buddy read, and I actually want to read it with her. But they sent me a survey, and it asked me, how would you feel if the app went away? And I put, I wouldn't care. And so the next question was, well, why wouldn't you care? I said, because I read. I don't care about apps. I don't care about tracking. I don't care about anything. I just read. So when I see people who take all this time to post, these are my December hopefuls and 10 before the end, all that time y'all be creating all that, you could have just been reading. And so that's honestly what it is for me. I just read. I don't make lists. I'm a mood reader. I'm not easily influenced. I don't force myself to finish books or read books because they're popular. I just read. And all of a sudden I got to 300 books in a year.
And I think for me, Libby has really helped push me with books. I'm reading random stuff that's on my TBR because I just never know when something's going to release. And then also, you only have so much time before it, whatever. So it also helps push me to like read fast because of that, because I know at any given second, like something else is going to pop up. So I read quicker, but it's definitely, I don't know if I'm going to keep up this momentum coming in next year.
You don't have a reason not to, Renee.
Softball season. It's not softball season right now, so I'm able to get in a hell of a lot more books right now.
Right. So keep reading until the balls start flying.
No, where I messed up at with my reading this year was I usually get most of my reads in the first quarter. and I was slow as hell. Like I was reading so slow. So what I have learned is like if you can get a lot done in that first quarter, you'll usually set yourself up for success for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I know I'm not even any near close, but I read way more this year than I ever thought I could.
Yeah.
Because I'm so busy, but it does turn into, okay, I'm riding on the bus from this community service project today and I'm sitting next to a dud. Let me pull out my book and read. Like everybody else on the bus was talking next to their person. My person didn't want to talk. I'm like, cool, because I can finish worthy. But I do feel like not, like you said, Erica, not reading stuff that you don't like put it down. There's too much good stuff out there to read.
Yep.
Say, I'm just going to slog through this book. But 100%, I know that these Kindle challenges have increased my reading so much because I want those bookmarks. Those bookmarks don't count for nothing, but I want them.
Right.
I
got 3 more.
For badges and bookmarks.
I want those
badges. We want badges.
They have truly increased my reading,
to make sure you're getting that daily check mark.
Normally read. They help me. They open new genres and new authors to me.
It up a lot. I would have never Colleen Hoover, but for those Kindle challenges.
Yeah.
Psychological
thrillers, that was not on my radar this year. And that's one genre that I've taken over.
Of the Kindle challenge. This last quarter, I think I finally figured out how this shit works. And I got 13 out of 15 I think we got 20 days left. I was shocked. I didn't figure them out, and I did a couple children's books too.
Answered my question. For those of you who don't have Kindle Unlimited, for this current term, do y'all only have 15 badges to get instead of 16?
Yeah, I have 15, but I did just get Kindle Unlimited.
That's ghetto.
It was after the started.
For me, it shows 16. I have 14 out of 16.
I got Kindle and I got 16 badges I had to get.
I have
mine is 16, but I have Kindle Unlimited.
See, I was thinking they gave y'all a different challenge and that y'all had 16. But no, y'all have one less badge to get.
Yep.
Ghetto.
But but I have unlimited and I only have 15, but I have a free trial of unlimited.
And see, that's me too. I have a free trial right now, so that's probably it. They're not making us do it because we're not paying for it.
I'll take it.
Right. Yeah, I'm at 14 out of 16 free trial, right now. Won't let me. Oh, I'm telling you, when I be out busy working, listen to that white on white crime, I'm getting my money's worth, because that's another reason, like a lot of those psychological thrillers that I read, of course, I have it sped up to 1.5. It's like a 6-hour book. I could finish that in a work day.
Yeah,
and the type of work that I do is very rote, and I could kind of daydream, and so it sort of pulls me in, and I feel like I'm solving crimes in my head, and before I know it, my workday is over. So those psychological thrillers, a lot of them I'm finishing in a day or two.
Remember when you wouldn't touch an audiobook?
Yes, I do. And and that's why now I've started going back. Like I said earlier, I don't know if you were on the call yet, that Opal and Nev, there's a couple that I've gone back to listen to, because the first time I could not get into it, but I had to learn my speed and even which app, because I listen on more than one app, but I had to learn how to really focus. And one of the other things that I've done since I've really gotten into audiobooks, like, being so conscious of reading more, and even if it's just listening, I've eliminated music out of my life in a lot of ways. So I listen while I'm brushing my teeth now. I listen while I'm putting on my shea butter.
Yep,
but
that's me
9
too,
times out of 10, it's these psychological thrillers, this white on white crime.
I know you don't like it, Erica, but what helped me read a lot too is Kindle reading to me. So in my Kindle Unlimited, I have my Kindle. Yeah, and Alexa, she reads to me, and that's how I get a lot done too.
Do you have an actual, what do they call it, an Echo? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's what I have. I have one in every room.
Well, I lost that. I go from room to room. When we broke up, y'all, the Echo was his. I have an Echo, and I bought it, but I bought it for him. So I don't have an Echo.
Man, I'd be deactivating that shit.
I don't even know how. You know, he never used it. That was the funny thing. I was like, oh, he's a tech guy. He's a gadget guy. He never fucking used it.
I
So
use
I
it for
didn't even notice it
everything.
when he took it.
I'm cooking something or I need a reminder. I'm like, Alexa, send a reminder to pick up this child at 2:15 or set a timer for 30 minutes. Or, you know, if I have something in the oven and I need to go upstairs to my room, I'll be like, set a timer in Renee's room for 15 minutes. So it'll go off in my room and I know to come down and check on it. Weather, everything. I use that thing, my kids. And when the pandemic hit, Alexa, how do you spell cat? I'm just using that as an example, but like Alexa rules.
My Alexa picked
everything.
you up and started spelling.
Do y'all hear
She's
mine?
answering.
Yes,
She's answering the question right now.
Mine is answering you. It's right behind my laptop, and she's answering you.
When it's
Alexa,
math,
stop.
when they need to know math problems, my kid will be like, "What's 10 plus 5 plus 6 plus 68?" And she will answer the question. They don't even have to think she's a calculator. Like she does
I might
everything.
get one. Me and Leah were talking about it yesterday because I have one in my dollhouse. Of course, it's not real, but she thought it was real because that's just something about my Alexa and my dollhouse. She was like, "You have an Alexa in your dollhouse?"
Alexa,
I'm
stop.
like, "Yeah," because I want my stuff to look real, but it doesn't actually work. But I was like, well, maybe I'll buy one.
I love it.
But those Kindle Unlimited, the free listens, there's so many of them to listen to. I never have a shortage of what to read or listen to next. And every time we do a challenge where I actually have to read a book for the challenge, I pick one that has a free, where it says read and listen for free, which is why I was reading that book the other day where they kept saying cock because it was a free listen. So I haven't had to use another platform like Alexa or anything. Everything's on Audible.
And even if you have Audible, you can also say, Alexa, continue my book on Audible, and she'll pick up from wherever you were at. Or you can just connect your phone as a speaker, and then you can play it from your phone to Alexa.
So it's not the actual like people they hire to read the books. Is it just in the Alexa
like
voice
what Nicole's talking about is if you have the ebook, they'll translate it. So if I tell her to read the audiobook or whatever, she'll read it in the Kindle Siri voice, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you have Audible, you can tell her to read like your Audible, open up the Audible and read it, and it'll pick up from where you left off and do that. But you can also connect your phone as if it's like a Bluetooth speaker connected, and then you can play, like if you have Libro FM or Libby, you can connect it to there and it'll play it louder in the kitchen or wherever as a speaker. It has a lot of functions. It can turn on TVs and lights and things too.
See, I don't want all that.
I can't remember. I have my TV connected, but I can't remember how to turn it on. But I know if I say like, Alexa, turn on Roku TV or something, she'll turn on my TV.
No, I fell asleep one night. My
You
TV
heard her?
was off.
She just turned on my TV.
Yes.
She said, "Okay, my TV is on right now."
Mine keeps responding to you, Renee.
Oh, mine do too.
It's right behind my laptop, and
I'm turning everybody's stuff
responding
off.
to you.
I gotta go.
And then like we have one in every room, so I'll say like, Alexa, play Aqua Barbie Girl in Tatum's room, and then all of a sudden his room, he'll be
Alexa,
in there playing basketball. My bad.
No, but the only creepy thing is like I remember one night I was asleep and I woke up because Alexa was like, I can't answer that. I was like, who? And I'm looking around, I'm thinking my daughter playing games with me. So I go in there because I'm like, okay, I check her Alexa. I'm like, she's asleep. So I lay back down and it was like, I'm sorry, ask me again. I was like, who is talking to you?
No. I don't know, Ring camera, doorbell. I don't want none of it. Too much surveillance.
Right.
We
Justin got the lipstick on. What you wearing?
I'm ready, honey. I know. Oh, you got your little black Santa?
I need that black Santa, and it's in my favorite color pink.
We have I'm in San Francisco for our work, our annual, like we do a winter gathering and a spring gathering. Spring is in DC. So tonight we have our social time. Tomorrow is the holiday party, but tonight is like a ping pong tournament and random stuff. But they were like, wear your holiday shirt. So I obliged. They even have my jingle bell.
I know, I see the earrings. Those are cute.
Cute.
I'm gonna run and go do that, y'all.
Yeah, I'm about to get off.
Here.
Yeah, I
Watch
gotta go
Real
to my
Housewives.
job. See y'all next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Good
Good
night.
night.